The confirmed number of new coronavirus cases reported in Los Angeles County over the last 24 hours is 429, with 17 additional deaths. Here in Torrance, 14 additional cases were reported, with one new death. Welcome to COVID-19 Today. I'm Riannon Trutanich. It's Tuesday, March 22nd. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki tested positive again for COVID-19. She tweeted this morning that she took a PCR test in preparation for travel to Europe, where she was to accompany President Joe Biden for meetings on Russia's invasion of Ukraine. But since her test came back positive, she says she will adhere to guidance from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. She added that thanks to the vaccine, she only had mild symptoms and plans to work from home until the conclusion of a 5-day isolation period and a negative test. President Biden tested negative on Tuesday. He had 2 socially distanced meetings with Psaki, which is not considered to be a close contact incident under CDC guidelines. Psaki thanked White House Deputy Press Secretary Chris Meagher for jumping in with hardly any notice at today's daily briefing inside the White House press room. This is the second time that COVID-19 sidelined Psaki during an important international trip. She tested positive last fall and could not accompany the president to Rome, Glasgow, and Scotland. U.S. health experts are warning that the highly contagious BA.2 subvariant of Omicron could lead to another rise of COVID-19 cases. White House Chief Medical Advisor Dr. Anthony Fauci says this variant is about 50 to 60% more transmissible than the original Omicron, but does not appear to be more severe. BA.2 already caused case spikes in China and parts of Europe. It's estimated to account for about 25 or 30% of new cases here in the U.S., but Dr. Fauci says it could become the country's dominant variant. Health officials continue to urge people to get vaccinated and boosted, saying they are the best ways to prevent serious illness from the virus. The CDC reported more than 31,200 new COVID-19 cases on Saturday, including 958 deaths. Both figures are significantly down from the beginning of this year. Pfizer will supply up to 4 million of its COVID-19 antiviral treatments to poor nations soon. The company announced an agreement with the United Nations Children's Fund today, where it will ship the oral medication Paxlovid starting next month and through the rest of the year. Low-income countries will receive the pills through UNICEF for a not-for-profit price, while upper-middle-income nations will pay more under a tiered pricing system. Pfizer licensed Paxlovid through the Medicines Patent Pool, a UN-backed public health organization which will allow other companies to produce a generic, low-cost version of the COVID-19 treatment to boost supply in lower-income places throughout the world. So far, 35 companies in 12 nations across Latin America, the Middle East, South and East Asia signed agreements to either produce the raw ingredients or the finished drug. Pfizer's agreement with UNICEF will supply Paxlovid to the same 95 low- and middle-income nations targeted by the licensing agreement. Pfizer officials say the goal is to provide short-term access to the oral antiviral treatment as companies get the generic manufacturing up and running. Meanwhile, therapeutics are available for free throughout LA County for qualified Angelenos. Officials say the free medications can help prevent severe illness, hospitalization, and even death in those who are at higher risk of poor outcomes should they get the virus. Paxlovid and Molnupiravir are oral therapeutics that must be taken within 5 days of the first COVID-19 symptoms and require a prescription from a healthcare provider. Paxlovid is for those 12 years and older weighing at least 88 pounds, and Molnupiravir is only for adults ages 18 and up. Evusheld is administered by injection and available for 12 years old and older weighing at least 88 pounds who have not been exposed to COVID-19 and can't get a vaccine for medical reasons. Anyone who would like access the therapeutics or have questions can call the COVID-19 information line at 833-540-0473 between 8 a.m. and 8:30 p.m. daily. And California is getting closer to lifting more COVID-19 related mandates. Starting April 1st, California will no longer mandate attendees at large indoor events, such as concerts and games, to show proof of vaccination or negative test results. LA County will align with the state and post an updated health officer order later this week. More students in LA may soon be able to go to school without their masks. The LA Unified School District Board of Education is expected today to approve an agreement allowing nearly every student and staff member to remove their masks indoors beginning tomorrow. Members of United Teachers LA voted overwhelmingly to approve the agreement on Monday night. Masking will continue to be required for staff and students in early education centers and other early learner programs. The agreement calls for continued weekly COVID-19 testing of all students and staff through the end of the school year, with masks strongly recommended indoors. The district must also continue to offer KN95 or N95 masks to any employee who requests them, as well as provide take-home COVID tests to all students and staff for baseline testing prior to the beginning of the 2022 spring break. The agreement will be in place until June 30th. The CDC added one new destination to its highest risk category for travel this week. Madagascar moved up to level 4 from level 3. The CDC puts a place at level 4 COVID-19 very high risk when more than 500 cases per 100,000 residents are registered in the past 28 days. The Indian Ocean island nation is off the southeastern coast of Africa and is known for its unique wildlife, including lemurs, and for being the world's 4th largest island. There are now about 120 destinations at level 4. The CDC advises avoiding travel to countries in this level. Researchers are trying to understand more about the BA.2 subvariant of Omicron and focusing on finding ways to treat it. A study in Japan looked at how long the virus remains on a surface and can still be recoverable. Researchers used both plastic and skin from cadavers in a lab and tested multiple COVID-19 variants. They noticed that Omicron lasted the longest. Scientists say the greatest risk of infection continues to be by droplets in the air. Another study, this one in the U.S. by Washington University researchers, points to an AstraZeneca antibody-based COVID-19 drug called Evusheld as a way to neutralize Omicron's BA.2 variant. Researchers say it's a very clever construction of two monoclonal antibodies that put together will bind to the virus and provide protection just like its own antibodies will do. Evusheld is meant for people who may not respond to the vaccine and can't generate their own immune response. Both studies still need to be peer-reviewed. The Torrance City Council will not meet tonight as it is a previously scheduled dark night. The next meeting takes place Tuesday, March 29th. Several candidate forums will take place starting this week and through early May, giving Torrance residents many opportunities to get to know their potential local representatives before the June 7th election. City Council Districts 1, 3, and 5 are up for grabs, along with the city clerk, city treasurer, and the mayoral seats. The first of 8 candidate forums begin tomorrow at South High's cafeteria at 6:30 p.m. The next ones will take place on March 31st, April 14th, 20th, and 21st, May 1st, 3rd, and 5th at locations throughout the city. For detailed information on each candidate forum and to learn more about the upcoming June 7th general municipal election, go to torranceca.gov/election. Well, before we go, at the end of each program, we like to share feel-good stories from our community. Pictures, images, and videos that remind us of how resilient our community is and how Torrance truly cares. Author Mark Roselle was at the Torrance Historical Society Museum over the weekend for a special book signing event.
2004 is when I got the documents and began to try to make sense out of it. And I decided first to just write a summary for my family, what I was learning from the box of pictures and letters. And then I decided to write it book size to give to my family, and then I decided to publish it. So it kind of went in stages.
For the first time since COVID hit, we were able to open our museum for a program. We'd like to be able to offer good quality programs with a lot of historical value. He had several photographs and lots of history and archival information to share, and it just was an amazing program with great attendance.
The Torrance Historical Society hosted this special gathering in partnership with the LA Maritime Museum. Rozelle's book gives readers a detailed look into how his family overcame droughts, floods, earthquakes, and the Great Depression as the LA River brought them both wealth and tribulation on their 114-acre ranch. What a great way to learn about our region's rich history and appreciate the efforts of a local author. Now, if you have a great story, an upcoming event, a photo or video you'd like to share, email us at covid19today@torranceca.gov. We'd love to hear from you. It's been almost 2 years since Torrance Citi Cable first launched COVID-19 Today. This will be our last week of this daily live news program. Next week, we're preparing a special look back at the pandemic through interviews with key figures from our city. We're grateful for your viewership during these trying times and are excited to return with a new show beginning next month. Well, that's our update for COVID-19 Today. We'll see you back here tomorrow as Christine Lee brings you the latest. Be safe, stay healthy, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.